In international relations, there are no permanent friends or permanent enemies, only permanent interests. But there are a handful of countries that are certainly fond of each other more than the others. In this video, we'll discuss countries that love each other. Okay, I know that romantic relationships aren't exactly working the same way with diplomacy, but I really mean two countries that have excellent diplomatic relations, share ties, and are generally more friendly to each other than the rest of the world. Ah, two former adversaries. I already made a video explaining the relationship, but it's essentially marked by close cooperation. Today, both countries are strong partners and are pillars of the democratic European institutions. But this was unimaginable a century ago. Both countries had a long enmity dating back to the 16th century. This ended after World War II, and they realized that cooperation is better than revanchism. France and Germany will continue to be strong partners for the betterment of Europe. Two Mediterranean countries. These two countries have shared ties dating back to the Roman Empire days. The Crown of Aragon also controlled parts of Italy for some time. Their languages are not the same, but Italians and Spaniards can somehow understand each other to a certain extent. As people, Italians and Spaniards are fond of each other, sharing the same Mediterranean vibe. Even politically, Italy and Spain have extensive ties. The relations strengthened when Spain was ruled by a certain caudillo, while Italy was ruled by a man with a funny hat. Even today, Italy and Spain have excellent diplomatic relations, and they will always support each other. In the Balkans, it seems that everyone hates each other. But there's an exception: Greece and Serbia. These two countries enjoy close diplomatic relations, even if both countries have different affiliations, since Greece is part of the European Union and NATO, and Serbia is not. Their friendship is really down to cultural, religious, and historical ties. What bonds them together is Eastern Orthodoxy, despite having different backgrounds and language, and also not having a shared border. But well, Bulgaria is also a predominantly Eastern Orthodox country, yet they don't have this kind of relationship. Answering that, Serbia and Greece have had each other's backs during the Ottoman Empire revolutions, the Balkan Wars, the World Wars, and the Yugoslav Wars. In fact, Greeks stand with the Federal Republic of Yugoslavia against the NATO bombings. Adding to that, Greeks recognize Kosovo as Serbian clay, and Serbs love to go to Greek beaches. Serbs and Greeks will forever be brothers within the powder keg of Europe. I've also already made an in-depth video explaining the relationship. You can check it out. But to summarize, Polish-Hungarian brotherhood is mainly down to historical factors. Both Poland and Hungary have always had each other's backs during major historical events. Even today, Poland and Hungary continue to work alongside each other, despite not sharing a common border, like that of Greece and Serbia. Even in comment sections of videos about Poland and Hungary, you may find someone from Poland expressing their love to Hungary and vice versa. Greece and Armenia have strong political, cultural, historical, and religious ties. Greeks and Armenians are certainly fond of each other, but what really bonds them together is, ironically, the country that separates them. Since Greece and Armenia don't exactly have the best relations, with that country. Greece recognizes the Armenian genocide, and even Armenia recognizes the Greek genocide. Today, Greece and Armenia are supportive partners, even though that country separates them by a wide margin. Now this one is interesting. Pakistan and China are known to have a much closer bilateral relationship. Both countries are pretty much allies, especially in terms of military and economics. One question is what drove them to be special partners? Well, one factor is fear of India, and especially if India decided to deepen their ties with the West. These two countries really click on each other, like how Pakistan is one of the countries that supported China during the 1989. I don't want to lose my social credit score, I'm so sorry. And back to the video. And of course, like how China backs Pakistan with Kashmir. In fact, Pakistanis have a very positive opinion, generally, on China, a lot more positive than the US. Both countries are very strong partners, and it will continue to make India nervous. Turkey and Azerbaijan have a very close relationship and are often described as one nation, two states. Their close relationship is bound by historical, economic, political, and especially cultural factors. Both countries are predominantly Turkic speaking, and they are proud of that. Turkey is one of the first countries to recognize Azerbaijan's independence in 1918, then again in 1991. During the Karabakh War, Turkey has wholeheartedly supported Azerbaijan as their Bayraktar drones really helped the latter. Azerbaijan continues to support Turkey on many issues as well. Russia and Serbia have good diplomatic relations, and many Serbs are quite fond of Russia and vice versa. In fact, many Serbs stand with Russia with their military conflict in Ukraine. Their close relations are bound by religious and historical factors. Serbs and Russians are predominantly Eastern Orthodox, and Russians have helped Serbs during times of crisis. Serbs have also helped Russian emigres escape the communist regime. In fact, Serbia's closeness with Russia dragged the world to a global war. Things were a bit complicated during Yugoslav times though, but after its demise, Russia stood with Serbia in the Kosovo dispute. Even if Serbia today is balancing Russia and the West, Serbia and Russia will continue to be spiritual brothers. US and UK relations weren't exactly the best in the early days. Both countries were at war during 1812. However, the United States and the United Kingdom have a very close, special relationship in all spheres. In fact, the relationship is a major cornerstone of the current world order we have right now. The fact that their language, the English language, is what I use for making this video already tells a lot about both countries. They are essentially special partners. But not all is positive though. There are times when the US and UK do not agree. Well, that's fine. Even lovers disagree. What is important for both countries is that they continue to be strategic partners. I know you're coming for this section, but it is true that the US really loves to support Israel. The US has been pouring large amounts of money into Israel that some consider it to be the aircraft carrier of the Middle East. The US also supports Israel in form of military and political aid. Thanks to US support, Israel was able to become a small but powerful nation, which certainly makes some countries despise Israel a lot more. I'm not entering the argument, by the way. Although not everything is positive, some issues have certainly existed, and also some believe that the US is giving too much to Israel, especially with the support of lobby groups. Most Americans and Israelis do view each other positively, but there are some indifference and negative opinions as well, just like in the other countries. Oh, and don't Google the USS Liberty incident. Those are some of the countries that may not love each other literally the same way you love your girlfriend, if you have one, sucks if none. But those that have excellent diplomatic relations, close relationships, and shared cultural and historical ties. If you know more countries that love each other, kindly share them in the comment section. Thank you for watching and please subscribe for more country neighbors.